Today I'd like to talk to you about vibrating tumblers, or more specific, I'm just going to test it out. This is the cheapest one you can get on eBay, and it actually comes with some media. Now this is supposed to be corn cob. Now it's brown. Whenever I went to Kentucky Fried Chicken, if my corn cobs were that colour, I'd send it back. So never seen ground corn cob. I take it they may be dried. That's the amount you need for this size tumbler. Polishing media is all what it says. They only have a little motor, offset weight, spins it around, vibrates the whole lot. Plastic bowl. Now some you'll see they'll have a inner curved surface where it rolls up to keep it turning. This one is mainly for cartridges. We're not gung-ho over here, so we don't do cartridges. If you watch my series on the Mach3 Alternative and you've enjoyed it, one of the parts I'm making up is the spindle encoder. So I need a bracket for that. So that's 2 halves. The spacer block. Spindle encoder fits in there. The XL pulley fits in there. That's clamped in there. Bearing fits in there. The belt goes around, the spindle spins and the belt turns and the encoder reads. So this is just some scrap I had laying around, aluminium. I don't know the spec, it's that putty type where you drill it and it sticks like putty to your drill. So fairly soft. I wanted to see whether it would fit in this size bowl, so that should be okay. And I've given it the standard sort of finish I normally do, just with a emery cloth, the finger, get it all striped, a bit of a wire brush look. So that's going to fit in there. Vibrating tumblers, they'll have like a medium, little triangles, plastic, whatever, and then they'll put in the solution, and that will be the buffing compound or whatever. It can be a rouge or all different stuff, and that sticks to the little bit of triangles, and then that bounces around, and then that will rub it, the next one will rub it, and that's how it polishes. The website for this, it was just polishing medium, use our polishing liquid. So this is the good old-fashioned brasso. If you don't know what brasso is, ask your mother or your grandmother. They used to polish all the silverware, where families used to have silver, and it would tarnish all the time. They polish it. You wipe it on, it dries off, and then you rub it and buff it, and it comes out quite nice. I don't know how much to put in. I don't know the ratio. So what I will be doing is, like, if you poured the medium in, then pour this in, the medium up the top will become soaked and the rest of it won't. So you'll be putting most of your brasso and only a few of the grains. So what I plan to do is mix it up with a bit of water and then just spray it over as it's tumbling. My only concern with this particular model is the thread is exposed. So if you were doing bits of metal going around, metal, steel, that type of thing, it would soon wear this away. So I might see if I can get a bit of plastic tube, slide it over, and then cut it to size, and then put the medium in and get it tumbling. If you put it on your table like this, it will jump around like that. So we'll go out in the workshop. They take a long time. If you're doing a quick job for a guy and he says, okay, you've deburred it, I'll just give it a polish. You tell him to come back 2, 4, 6, 8 hours or even the next day to pick it up. So I don't know how long it'll take, how well it will do the job, and whether it's worth all the effort and expense. So I'll set this up in the garage, plug it in there on the concrete floor. We'll see how it bounces around. I'll show you that, and then when it's done, I'll show you the different finishes, how well or how bad it is. The bearing bore and the encoder bore I've left undersized by a couple of tenths of a thou. So that way I don't know how much it's going to take off. I don't know if it's going to hit there and dent that. I don't know. So we'll see how well it is. If it doesn't take much off, I can always just emery cloth that out to get it to fit. We'll go out the garage now and we'll see how it sounds like when it's fired up, and then tomorrow I'll get back to you and show you the finish. Cut up a bit of plastic tube, that's fitted on. That's what I use. You can see it on me other videos, but the cigar cutter. I have a timer. This one is an hour, so I'll set that on. I'll take this inside with me and just come back in an hour and check it and have a look. I've just got about a cup, just give it a dollop so as it's fitted down the bottom. That will go on there. So I'll just pour some on there now. Put some more on there. I don't know if it's going to be too wet or not, but it seems to be absorbed into it. You can make it too wet, you'll get moisture coming up, but after, say, an hour, they seem to dry out, so you need to touch it up a bit more. I'll put this one on there, and I'll put this one on there, and I'll put this one there. So that's how it is. I'll give this a little, as you can see. Now we'll just finish this off. So you can see how much of the tub it's filled up. That's how much I've put in. Put the lid on. Lid. I'll put the blocks of wood to try to keep it in position. Okay, I'll switch it on now. It's one of those adapters that they give you. They're always a bit loose, so you just bring it out a bit. So, because I don't want it vibrating loose, that's the other problem. That was is the other smaller one next to it. I thought it might have been all jammed up on one side. Let's have a look here. You can see it's got the moisture. There's the smell. No, here's the other one. So they weren't on one side sitting on top of each other, causing it to be off balance. Let's have a look here. That's about 4 hours now. It's got the concern I had. If you want to hide the sound of your air compressor, buy one of these. When the neighbours come and tried to burn the garage down and throwing rocks because of the noise, I joined them. It was very noisy, so I brought it inside in the... Okay. That's probably the problem. As a side note, that's where the screws come out. One of the three to hold it in. So, there's one missing there. That one was loose. So just one screw held it in. And here's the other one. And they were tightened. You could almost hear the plastic cracking, so that's how tight they are. So the nylock nuts didn't work. So just double check. Make sure they're double tight before you do yours. It has reduced the scratch lines down. Made it a lot more matte, flatter, not in surface but in the reflection. Now that's a machine finished. It just looks the same amount of ripples. So it hasn't got rid of the ripples in it from the cutter. So it's not very good to polishing after machining. After rubbing down with the emery cloth, a bit better. That was like the extruded finish, slightly better but not much. Yesterday when I looked, there was gouge marks here, very deep one here. You can feel it with your finger, quite deep, and there's no gouge marks at all. And what happens there is the other part is hitting it and vibrating is like a vibrating pencil. Is actually marking your product, so you can polish it but then even if it polished it fantastic, you would then get a big scrape mark and gouge mark. So I think if you want to do one at a time, that would be okay. And if you want to wait a week, as long as you half polish it before. So I think that medium is great for gun brass cartridges that are already shiny, and it just takes off the tarnish, and you can put a medium in the bucket, saves you doing it by hand. But for one-off jobs that are soft and you want a decent finish, I don't think it's worth the time and effort. It's definitely not worth the noise. You couldn't work in your workshop and have a phone or conversation. So yeah. So what will I do? This is the main one here. That's a mark for the index point. So that's the main one you're going to see. Got cross scratches in it, so I give it a C, maybe a C+, but you won't be hearing it running that often here. If I get lots of little parts, maybe, but as it is now, I'll leave it up to you. As always, thanks for watching. Catch you next time.